Jojo review! Hey everybody, how are you? Are you ready for the newest Jojo review? So this is not one of those episodes where you learned about the character and now you have to see how strong they are by having them go on this one-off fight. One against one? Nah. But granted, this is also not one of those episodes where everyone fights as a team, all with their stands out, and then just gangs up on this one guy. This was actually quite a chaotic episode as far as where we were going. Like, you didn't know where the heck this episode was going. Unless, of course, you read the manga. So where we last left off, Fugo is fucked-o. He's on the ground getting beaten, and Alujo is going to kill him. But as soon as he's about to land the finishing blow, or the multiple finishing blows, here's footsteps going, and we already know that it's Abba because he's going after the key. He decides, you know what, it's gonna take too long to kill you, but you can't do anything anyway. I'm gonna go after Abba and see what he's going to get, because he's obviously going for something. Sure enough, Abba does get to the key, but right when he's about to pick it up, oh, there's a mirror right there. He looks into the mirror, and he sees Alujo. Infant, why are you saying his name weird? I say everything weird! So Abba does what I would have personally done, and he just reacts by kicking the mirror away, but unfortunately, he can still pull people through the shards, as long as it's being reflected into the mirror. So once he pulls Abba in, Abba over here, like a G, just grabs his stand by the neck, and he's thinking, wait a minute, only stands can grab other stands. Ah ha ha ha, you thought it was Abakio you pulled in the mirror, but it was me, Diablos!
Damn fan, why do you always scream during your reviews? You need to calm down.
So he's beaten the crap out of Mind Mirror. I mean, really, he's not very strong to stand on his own. It's more so that his ability is strong. But as far as, like, physical strength of his stand, this dude just gets pummeled on the ground. But Alujo has another trick up his sleeve. The problem is, Abba needs to be looking through the mirror to actually attack with his stand. And as we mentioned before, anything reflected in the mirror can be pulled through by Alujo. So he pulls Abba through there, and he only pulls half of him through, and he disallows half of Moody Blues to be in the mirror. They create this weird half-stand, half-human monster in order to, I guess, prevent his stand from moving properly. And of course the villain has to monologue a little bit about how fun it's going to be to kill him before he actually does it. But that's when he notices that the key is not in its correct place. And he's like, ugh, where did you hide it? And that's when you notice that Alba's hand just kind of falls off his wrist. The dude cut off his hand. I don't know with what. It's not important. So it turns out the reason why he cut off his hand was so that his stand outside, the part of his stand outside of the mirrors, would have his hand cut off as well. And stands can float, so he can control his stand's hand floating and grab the key, and his hand actually, outside of the mirror, goes off with the key to give it to Giorno. So, it's already common knowledge that anything that happens to your stand will happen to you, but I guess it also works in the reverse way. Unless your stand ability is to chop itself up into millions of pieces and go floating around, you're going to have to chop yourself off. In this case, his hand off, so that he can send his hand floating around and do its thing. Abba currently has no hand. I don't know if there's a plan to fix that. Is there a mob doctor nearby? Can we get his hand sewn back on? So Alujo freaks out, obviously. He goes towards the key to see where it's going to drop off and see if he can pull Giorno in the mirror before he picks up the key or after he picks up the key or something like that. And he starts laughing. Because Abba's plan was, once he dropped it off to Giorno, Giorno would run and he wouldn't be able to catch him. But Giorno doesn't move from his spot. He just sits there, notices the key, and Alujo's like, oh, he probably has no idea what's even going on! What are you, stupid? So he pulls Giorno in. It's a trap. Giorno actually infected himself with the virus from Purple Haze. Now, I guess it's a smaller infection, I guess, because it definitely works a lot slower on Giorno than it was working on them crows. But granted, those crows are also very smaller than a human would be. When Giorno comes in, he instantly affects Jojo with the virus, and he's screwed. So he's like, alright, the only way I can get out of this is if I also chop off my hand similarly to Abba. So what he does is, to make sure that there's no hint of the virus left in him, he exits the mirror world, and he uses his ability to say, hey, I'm going to leave the mirror world, but the virus can't come with me, to make sure that it's completely gone from him when he exits. And it works, but granted, he is now bleeding out. Giorno doesn't try to stop him. He turns to Fugo and he's like, you still have your stand out there, right? And Fugo, mentions, wait, but I can't see him. I can only attack with my stand if I can actually see where he is. And that's when Giorno reveals that he actually turned part of a snake into a brick. Because you can't see living things inside the mirror world. He had to turn a living thing to be, like, part non-living, so that they could actually see it. So they see this brick moving around and they don't see the snake parts of it. Man, that must be like a lot of weight for that snake to be carrying. That snake is gonna get buff by the end of this episode. So the snake is revealing where Jojo is, and this is the moment where he knew he fucked up. Purple Haze attacks him, and with quick thinking, he calls out Mind Mirror to block the hit. And he's thinking to himself, okay, if I can just block the hit, I can remove the arms of Purple Haze so that he can't spread his virus to me, and I can remove them and put them in the mirror. And there's a little shard of mirror that he can actually use for that. And he manages to actually block the hit from Purple Haze. But one of the capsules comes off of the fist and just completely splurgs out. He's dead. He's dead. He takes a lot of the virus from that capsule, and he's done for. I almost feel bad for the guy because, he had good instincts, he had quick thinking, but at the end of the day, dude, y'all just unlucky. So they're not in the mirror world anymore, but Giorno still has the virus, and that's when he reveals, oh, what a coincidence! That snake that he turned halfway into a brick actually is immune to the virus, so he's able to take some blood cells and insert it into himself, and it sounds quite painful. It sounds more painful than the virus itself. But no, I'm sure Giorno's fine. He's just shake it off, man. You got this. And then we still have Abba, who is bleeding out in the corner, who Fugo should probably be more concerned about Abba, honestly. He's missing a hand, he's like passing out in the corner. Giorno is fine, he cured himself. He's a little bit in pain right now, but let's not worry about him. Abba's missing a fucking hand. Oh, but then the ending scene. Oh, the ending scene. We got some hints on the new episodes and where this is heading. So, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, naturally. Of course, I have not read the manga. But we see, in what looks like a subway, a man shot and dead, and he appears to have dropped this small, square, burnt piece of paper. And this other man, wearing what looks like a prison outfit, a like super old prison outfit from like the 1920s. It's probably just a new fashion style in Italy. I mean, I'm not gonna judge. But he bends down and picks up the burnt piece of paper and smirks. And we don't really see his face. And that's how you know, ooh, this is somewhat important. But the real question is, what is on this piece of paper that's so important? And I guess the idea is, by burning it, you would remove it from evidence. But there's still this itty-bitty piece left that I guess still has some information on it that can be used. What it is, how it will be used, I guess we'll figure that out eventually. But right now, all that matters is we have the key, and I guess we have to figure out to what it goes to. It's supposed to be some sort of transportation, but it looks like a normal key for a door. You know, it looks like a fancy smashy key for a door. Maybe it opens up a box somewhere that opens up a helicopter permit. I don't know. But we'll get to that soon. Until then, guys, I will wave goodbye to you. As always, remember to like the video, comment below, sub if you're not subbed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.
Oh, God, my foot. Oh, God, why does that hurt so much? Ah!